Hey, here we are. Hey guys, what's going on? Ray here. I'm at Clinch Martial Arts in Lower Sackville with my very good friend Kevin, who I've known forever. We're going to talk a lot of stuff today. We might do this in two parts. I'm not really sure. But again, we got the timer on. We're going to do like 24 minutes or so. Might shut it off and do part two. So, Kevin,
hey,
good to see you, man. Representing. You got the shirt on.
I got the shirt.
Just
I'm rocking.
BJJ class. It was awesome.
A little sweaty. Jiu-jitsu before that, Muay Thai class. So
awesome. And we have the best background so far of all videos. This is awesome.
Even the sweaty hand wraps.
That's perfect. It's all good. It's all good. So anyway, Kevin, I'm going to just start off typically how I normally do. Sure. I know you're from Yarmouth originally. How old are you now?
I am 46.
46. So he's in with the gray-haired guys and geese. And that includes ladies too, by the way, because someone already asked me, what about the ladies? Well, of course, if they have gray hair, they're part of the group. But
I'm going to dye mine, so I'm out of the group.
So, Kevin, let's hear it, buddy. How did you get started in Yarmouth in your martial art?
I started Shotokan Karate in a little place called Port Maitland, which is about 20 minutes outside of Yarmouth going towards the Digby area. So if you're going towards Digby, which was kind of where I grew up, in that kind of area, a little bit farther, but still in that area. Started there when a RCMP officer started a karate school in Yarmouth and in that little town.
What style?
It was Shotokan Karate.
Okay.
Yeah, so we started Shotokan Karate, and that would have been, I'd have to ask my good friend Jeff Murphy, but I think that was 91, I think is when we started. 91, I think is when we started.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we progressed from there into Yarmouth, where the gym ran, the dojo ran there for many years in Southend. And at that point, not too long after that, I left. Went away for a couple of years. At that point, I had done some Weichi-Ryu karate, MPEI. Came back, me, Jeff, and Keith. Yeah, I think that's the way it worked. We started running a school on Main Street in Yarmouth.
Was that above Subway?
And it was above the flower shop.
Flower shop. We'll get to that.
Yes.
I don't want to jump too far ahead.
Yeah, and that's where we ended up before I ended up moving to Halifax.
I have pictures of that. I'm sure you do too, of the hardwood floor you guys used to have.
We sanded that by hand.
Wow.
Keith did most of the work, but Keith fixed that floor
At that time, was there other martial arts in Yarmouth?
It was mostly karate at that point. There was probably at that time 3 karate schools running.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there would have been us. There would have been the other Shotokan, which was kind of, formally all together. And then there was a Cheetah-Ryu school.
Okay.
And those were all in Yarmouth. Then there would have been a Cheetah-Ryu school and a few other Cheetah-Ryu schools around.
Okay.
At that time. So and Randy had his Taekwondo school at that point.
Okay. Yeah, typical, small town martial arts. Normally
exactly.
Throw a judo program in there.
That was the only thing we didn't have that I always wanted.
Okay, yeah. Well, it was the early 90s, right? I mean, especially down there. So I was, of course, I'm from Halifax originally, and I believe, if I remember correctly, I'm sitting on a telephone, not a cell phone. I called you because I had a friend, a student, Jeff Rennard, who shout out to Tusket Breweries.
Tusket Falls Brewery.
Tusket Fall Brewery.
Brickla Street.
Oh, yeah. He's still running his breweries. Was a former black belt under me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I remember him wanting to teach in Yarmouth, the Japanese jiu-jitsu program. And I remember talking to you on the phone and saying, hey, my name is Ray. Can we use your spot? And blah, blah, blah. And
yeah, because when I first met Jeff, he had started teaching at the junior high. Right. And he was running out of there. And that's when a few of us from the karate school, me, Jeff, and a few others went over and we did one of his classes. And then I think maybe a month after that is you came down for a seminar.
Right.
And we did it at Maple Grove Junior High.
Oh, yes. I remember that.
And then we had the conversation, and then you guys came over and rented that.
There was some fella, I remember now, I don't know if he was from there, but he was kind of an older fella, he didn't have a uniform on, quite round, but he had all these chains. He was like some ninja guy. And
who that would be?
Yeah, and I remember
remember.
going, "Who's this guy?" And he's like, "Oh, I carry these chains with me for throwing." And anyway, just someone from Yarmouth.
We've all met a lot of those guys over the years.
So Jeff Murphy, of course, shout out to Murphy's Karate Academy at the Canada Game Center. You guys
Definitely.
used to train together.
Yeah, we started within a week of each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we trained right up until, of course, he left for a little while, I left for a little while, but we basically were in the same, training teams, both doing Shotokan karate, until 2000.
Okay.
Yeah, until 2000.
Wow.
When I kind of, after I got my knee done, that's when I moved to the city and I kind of got away from it.
Okay.
And of course, Jeff has continued to go on. And
yeah, Jeff continued for a bit. And then, because I remember, I forget the year, you would know, but we had a Thai boxer from Thailand, Jetlir Charhoon, who was here visiting. We brought him to Yarmouth for a seminar because I remember driving there and he thought there was tigers in the woods. He's like, "Tigers in the woods." And I go, no, there's no tigers. Anyway, and
maybe a few bears and coyotes.
Yeah, coyotes. Anyway,
a few cougars when you get down there.
Yeah, I've been to in Yarmouth when we were there one time for something.
Yeah,
you think the only bar was in a hotel?
There was a Grand Hotel, which had Haley's Lounge, which I used to work at.
That's, I think, where we were.
And then there was the Red Knight, which is on Stars Road. It was basically the only two at that point in time. I think it probably still is the only two.
Okay. And I don't know, Joel Jacquard will watch this video.
Yeah, Joel can tell us what's going on.
He should know all about these bars. Yeah. So anyway, so that club shortly shut down after a short time. Japanese Jiu-Jitsu in Yarmouth was toast. But you moved to the city.
I did. I got here in 2003.
Okay.
And that's when I walked into the Bloomfield Center.
The historic Bloomfield Center, yes. Yeah, I remember you being there because everybody was scared of your kicks. Raj and all those guys and Tony Breen and a whole bunch of people were just like, no kicking.
They didn't like him.
Yeah. So
that's okay. We still beat each other up all the time.
Yeah. Kevin was long time training with us. We trained back and forth, kickboxing and jiu-jitsu and a whole bunch of different things.
Oh, yeah, I always tell people, they're like, "Oh, who was your first kickboxing coach?" I say it was Ray.
But we have a lot of and we did some demos together.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
we do the Japanese cultural. We did that one.
Yeah, we did a Japanese cultural demo one time at some school,
high St.
school.
Mary's?
It was Dow. And the Japanese consulate was there, and I remember we went out and we didn't plan anything.
No, not at all.
No, and we had weapons, and you did kata, and then we basically just beat the crap out of each other, and we did some jiu-jitsu and Filipino.
Remember Gerald did some bow staff form?
Yeah.
Only reason I remember that because there's a picture of Gerald and all of us, and Gerald has a staff. So every now and again it pops
Travis
up.
was there.
Travis did some judo.
Judo Travis from New Brunswick. He was also training for a while at Bushido Kai, or at Bloomfield, formerly Bushido Kai.
Yeah, he taught with me when we first opened up Clinch. He was one of my coaches here.
Yeah, well, that's what I wanted to get into. Sure. So I know you went there, and then you were out in Sackville for a bit. And then you were we kind of like, hey, Ray, do like an affiliate thing.
Yeah, we originally, when I moved to Beaverbank is when I opened up originally, and that's when we were kind of affiliated at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we were just, you were trying to do something on your own, right?
Exactly. Awesome. Yeah, and then I moved from, we were just talking about this a few minutes ago, actually, because Brett Dwyer, who's my longest student, was at the very first location in Sackville, not the Beaverbank one, but he joined when he was like 13. So he's been with me since he was like 13. And we were just talking about that. So we went from Beaverbank, then we moved to what used to be Jason's Video in behind Downsview on Walker Connector upstairs.
So to make sure, that's where Clinch started. So
no,
okay.
That was Sackville Martial Arts Center.
Oh, right.
So we did Sackville Martial Arts Center there.
Okay.
Then we moved to another building just across the parking lot, Sackville Martial Arts Center. Then I moved to Seawood, which is just off of Sackville Drive. Yeah. That's when we became Clinch.
Okay. So before we just get to that, I remember when you were at not Jason's Video, but the second one.
Down below.
Down below, because that's where we met Edgar.
Yes.
Edgar Luke from Brazil,
Edgar
NXT.
Came.
I think you had him. or
Yeah, so
I'm not
I brought Edgar down twice. So the reason, so the first time we brought Edgar down, or Edgar came to the gym, he actually came with another guy.
Was it Jamie Slomwhite?
No, yeah, Jamie and all them were the ones who set it up.
Okay.
But there was another guy, and I'd have to look at my Facebook because I actually have the picture.
Right.
And they had met this guy's coach at a judo competition somewhere.
This is important history for anyone out there, MXT people, my old Bushido Kai club where we had it going because we didn't have Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the time. Well, we had Nathan Stevers, who was from Titans. He was a blue belt, and he was teaching Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at my club when we were on Oxford Street. But Kevin was the first guy to host this gentleman from Brazil.
Yeah, so he came down and I think Edgar was there.
Yeah.
And then he ended up, it was kind of facilitated all through him, I guess.
Okay.
And he came down, I can't remember what the guy's name, Rodolfo or something like that.
Oh, Rodrigo. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rodrigo Renace. I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. I'm so sorry. He's a police officer, and he runs the biggest academy right now in Alberta.
Oh, is that where
it is? Yeah. Massive. It's like something.
Actually, no, it wasn't him. But this guy was
maybe not.
This guy was underneath of him.
Oh yes, and before they were MXT, they were Sia Palista.
Yes, he was. I think this guy was underneath of him.
Yes,
but this is how this guy got connected.
Okay. Sorry, just ignore what I said.
Some details may be wrong in there. It's been a long time.
We're old.
But then Edgar started coming down, and then and then Jamie, of course, and
judo Jamie Slomwhite.
Yeah,
he introduced Edgar to us. Or to me, and we eventually joined Sia Palista, BJJ out of Brazil, and then later they switched to MXT and blah, 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 blah.
And we had brought him down. We had hosted him for I didn't say bring him down. He was already in the country. He came over to the original Clinch in Stewood and did a seminar there after, not the original one that we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and at that point, that's when we kind of started our.
That's good. That's triggering my memory because I like trying to remember this stuff because obviously there's a few still MXT people kicking around and just kind of where that history went. And but we were in New Brunswick at a seminar that Edgar was putting on, and I think John Kelly was hosting it. And I remember myself and Steve Greencorn. We sat and I asked Edgar to, hey, can we be part of your family? Can we join your Sia Palista and introduce Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to our club, which we did. Later, they switched to MXT, blah, blah, blah. But what's most important is the history of Clinch.
Yes.
I got off track. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Hey, it's all history. Then at that point, after that, that's when I would have been. I was kind of at that point already connected with Shane. And
Shane Rice,
training. But Shane at that point was still in the transition between LA and Vancouver. So he came up, and then shortly after that is when Shane moved here full time. So that would have been around 2009.
Shane Rice was like
so Shane Rice would Hickson Gracie's only and black belt in Canada.
Yeah, so he's in New Brunswick. He runs a school there, and credit to him. For being from Lower Sackville area.
And he still has his affiliate here in Sackville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he still does. They still train. Craig and Colin and those guys still have their academy underneath Shane. And Shane
But credit to Shane for going to California,
100%,
training, becoming the first black belt under Hickson Gracie.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there's another Canadian one yet.
So that's good history here in the Maritime.
Exactly, right? Yeah,
so
we're with Shane from... 10 years. So I was underneath Shane from 2008, 2009 to 2019-ish. Yeah. After that, and right around that point in time is when the program ended up moving on, and we connected on with Lovato.
Yeah.
So we've been.
Man, that guy is. I know you've trained with him. We'll talk about that. All I know is that him and like his father, of course, and they were really big into Jeet Kune Do and all that
his
stuff.
His father, to this day, his dad is, sorry, senior, if you see this video, I don't know how old you are, but he's in his 70s, if I remember correctly. at least in his 60s. You would never know he's in his 70s. If he is, he's in great shape. But he's still, although he's a great sport jiu-jitsu guy, go on the mats, he will roll with you and give you a hard time. The man is amazing. But he really likes to focus on jiu-jitsu as self-defense and law enforcement.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that too.
So what he does now, he spends most of his time traveling and teaching law enforcement across the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah, so he does everything from unarmed, armed, and what he does, a lot of his jiu-jitsu stuff, a lot of his jeet kune do and that stuff too, that he brings to the law enforcement. So the man is still traveling as much as he can and doing seminars all over the U.S. teaching law enforcement and security officials, and that's his passion, right?
That's
he loves
awesome.
that.
And so you're under his son.
We're under the team in general is we're under the team.
Everybody knows him. So if you know Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
you know Rafael Lovato Jr.
Yeah, no question.
If you don't, look him up.
Yeah, that's right. What was it like going down there training?
First time I walked in that gym was maybe a month after they opened and their new location. And so this location, if I remember correct, is about 10,000 square feet, full washrooms, showers. The small mat in that gym is roughly the size of my mat here, which is, the small mat's about the size of my gym.
Kevin has a great club here.
Yeah, the small mat is probably what you would see on an average BJJ academy in Halifax.
Okay.
His main mat, if I remember right, is right around 5,000 square feet.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 4.
Wow.
So when we went to the grand opening, of course, we're doing our training, and this was a grand opening, so there was teams from all over. Rafael Lovato is under Sal Hubera. So at that time, we were underneath Hubera Jiu-Jitsu, so all the Hubera Jiu-Jitsu family came down. That team is kind of, since Sanji's kind of running, he has his own kind of thing going. And so most of that is now called Six Blades. There's still a few Hubero gyms around, but from what I've been told is Sanji kind of runs the team now. So they just kind of they renamed it Six Blades, which is the Hubero logo has 6 blades.
Ah, that's awesome.
So it's just an offshoot of that logo.
Okay.
So at that time, if you, we had all the Hubero affiliates there. They were all there. We had 320 people on the mats that day.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, and all of a sudden I'm standing there, and all of a sudden I look over my shoulder and Sal Hubero is standing right next to me.
Wow.
He just came in as a surprise to Rafael for his gym.
What an honor. What a history.
It was one of these things when he's there, you're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Well, you're in the presence of obviously grandmasters, right?
Exactly, right? And there's so many great guys down there, besides just the normal everyday killer students and killer black belts, there's Dallas, who just opened up his own gym in Tulsa, and he's killing it in Tulsa. He's amazing. We're hoping to have him back here this year. He was here once.
Wow.
I mean, Steve Newman, who we never would be.
Yeah. How did you connect Steve Newman? Of course, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Another, Eric Paulson guy, Muay Thai instructor. He's in Spain.
Yeah. Steve, we wouldn't be part of Lovato if it wasn't for Steve. Steve set us up.
Just a great guy.
So Steve, basically the way the history works with Steve is Steve moved to Alberta. And was working in Alberta as a mechanic and started jiu-jitsu. And that's where the same time that Brad Call, one of our coaches, started jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Brad's is a black belt here under Lovato. And so they started jiu-jitsu together. And then
okay, that's great history.
Yeah, so they started jiu-jitsu together. Steve, literally made it his life. Ended up leaving the mechanic shop eventually after he bought the gym that they were training at. So he bought the gym, put his heart and soul into it, and then had an opportunity to go to Spain and left there, sold that academy.
Wow.
The same time that happened, Brad moved here for his work, and Steve opened up his academy in Spain.
Wow.
And so that's
and he can fix his car.
And exactly.
Yeah, we took a couple seminars with him here. It's
Steve was amazing,
just
right?
amazing. Such a good technician, great instructor. Just loves jujitsu, martial arts.
Oh, and it's just the details, right?
So obviously you're a brown belt, and you have Brad, who's a black belt, and you guys are sort of the main guys that kind of run things.
Yeah, Adam is one of them right now. Brad.
Sorry, Adam.
Brad had to take a little time off this summer, so he should hopefully be back this fall. So so normally what it works out is Adam and Brad up till this summer. They were kind of teaching the classes. I'd follow in. I'd teach my Tuesdays or Thursdays. Adam had his fundamentals classes that he was teaching.
Keep talking.
Yeah, sure. And that's the way the kind of things were going. This summer, Brad had to take a little time off. So basically over this summer, if you've been to the academy, it's been me and Adam running all the classes. Adam's a 4-stripe purple belt. Awesome. Adam's been at this. He'll have to ask me, but he's been at it for a long time now too.
Backtracking. And we're keeping an eye on the time here. We still got time. We didn't finish with the history of clinch.
Sure.
Because you were below, like by the Load of Mischief underneath there.
Yep. And
in the worst part of Lower Sackville.
Exactly. So then it was just time to move and expand. And that's when we moved into this building on 22 Glendale.
Yep.
This is our third unit, but we've been here since, I don't even know, it's 10 years.
Now, Kevin's club and clinch and Adam's club and Brad's club, everyone's club, they're very well known for producing Muay Thai athletes.
Yes.
Right? And so a couple of them, you have a bunch that traveled. Just quickly tell me about that, because it's so awesome to have people competing, especially in sport Muay Thai.
Yeah, so the Muay Thai program has kind of been my baby from day one, right? I'm kind of the primary instructor of that. Of course, I have Matt Hewson, who runs my kids program and my team program. He's been with me since he was 14. I mean, he's 25 now. He's been kind of running that, helping me run that program. So he's always my fill-in coach. We have Ryan Sims, who's a Team Canada member last year, traveled around South Africa. Where else was he? South Africa and Portugal. He was at Worlds in Portugal. He did that. That was so that was 23, 24, that team. So he did that. So he fills in on some nights too. But I'm kind of
every time I'm on Facebook, you guys are traveling somewhere. You're sending athletes and just they're bringing home the medals, man.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying a small team, but we try to leave a big wake, right? But I haven't done that by myself. I've had to reach out for coaches. Crew Jeff in Ottawa has done, been here many, many times, teaching me stuff and helping me out. Ojin was here. Topik has been here past year. If you follow Muay Thai on Instagram, trust me, you've seen him. He's everywhere. He's a killer from New Jersey. Basically lives in Thailand as much as he can.
Speaking of Thailand, Kevin also had Dave Leduc here.
Dave Leduc has been here 3 times over the years.
That guy, that's Lithway.
Yeah, Dave's not allowed in Thailand right now, from what I know.
Yeah, and he's not allowed back in Myanmar either anymore, I don't think.
He's allowed in Myanmar, but not under the current regime.
Just real quick, look up Dave Leduc.
Yeah.
Think Muay Thai with headbutts.
Yeah.
And no gloves. They just wear like real thick wraps.
Yeah, so the wraps stop here.
Okay.
And it goes to here.
Yeah, and you're allowed headbutts. And this guy's like multiple world champion.
And traditional Lithway, if you get knocked out, you have 2 minutes to get woken back up to go back and fight.
There you go. Yeah, he was awesome. Kevin brought a lot of good. He brought a couple people here.
Yeah, I've had a few. I'm trying to think who else I've had. That's one of the guys I also, a lot of my success to is Gabriel Varga.
That's it, Varga.
14-time world champion. Yeah. Hopefully we'll get him here in the next year or so. Kind of COVID kind of slowed down getting him here all the time, but he's done great. He's a Glory World Champion. He's a Bellator World Champion and multiple other organizations. And now he fights in karate combat. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's had a few fights in karate combat.
Because I love karate combat.
He's originally a karate guy originally, yeah.
Let's go back real quick because we're keeping an eye on time. We got about 5 minutes left. But let's just go back to Kevin training with GSP.
Yeah,
Almost nobody knows this.
That's a long time ago. That's a long time ago.
Tell us quickly, real quick.
Yeah, that was a seminar that was held.
I didn't make it. I didn't go.
Yeah, that was a seminar held in Truro by
GSP in Truro.
by Toby.
Yep.
He held that one. That time.
Now, was that before he was a champion?
No. So what had happened to that is he had just beat. The seminar was booked.
Right.
He had the Matt Hughes fight. I think that was the one. And that's where he won the title.
Right.
So he beat Matt Hughes for the title.
Yep.
Came and did the seminar. Well, there was a little bit of time in between that.
Yeah.
Came and did the seminar.
So technically as the champion.
He as the champion. And then he was getting ready to fight Matt Serra after the seminar, about a month or two after the seminar.
Right.
And that's when he lost the title to Matt
but he,
Serra.
you know, real quick, he admits that his brain wasn't in it.
He was having a lot of manager, and if you've listened to any of GSP's or Feroz's Joe Rogan, they actually go into what was going on at that time. Feroz talks about how he became his coach after that.
Feroz Sahabi. Good guy. I had him at Bushido Kai once. And then he was up here at Pro Edge once.
Yeah, when Pro Edge was up.
And he was here when the UFC was here. He was here with Jason.
Oh, that's right.
I don't want to say Jason McDonald. No, Jason.
He was
Jason McKay. That's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy.
Yeah. Jason McDonald was a.
What the hell's the guy's name? The other guy, Rory McDonald.
Rory McDonald.
Sorry, holy cow! But anyway, we're getting off track. Kevin trained with GSP. Exactly.
It's a few pictures on my Facebook of him choking me. So
that's awesome. It's good history. It's good history. So speaking of history, okay, we'll finish this up. In the big world of martial arts, what do some people you look up to? It can be anybody. It could be the old masters. It could be new people. It could be Master Ken. You know,
you know what? There's a lot of people who I look up to as technical wise. You know, a lot of people that I'm watching their stuff online. You know, there's some great guys I follow for jiu-jitsu, and some of them drawing blanks right now.
That's okay. It's all right.
But, you know, some great guys. Of course, you know, Lovato Sr., Steve, Dallas, you know, these guys, Kabir. The stuff that Kabir does, he's one of our affiliates in Vancouver, like business-wise and the way that he runs his program. Like, these are guys I look up to technically wise and business wise to love this business of martial arts. So there's some great guys that I look up to for that, and the way they run their academies and the way
even like from a traditional aspect.
Yeah, so these are the guys I look at too for there. There's guys that I look up to traditionally. You know, to be honest, like kind of the traditional martial arts, I've kind of got away. Yeah. But when it comes to like jiu-jitsu,
still good to know.
Still good, right? Yeah, exactly. So like my jiu-jitsu guys and my martial arts guys that I follow now are the basic guys.
Okay, good.
Right? I really like watching basic jiu-jitsu, mostly because I'm a gray-haired old guy. Right? So, you know, I look for the stuff that I can find functional with me and stuff. But you know what? Honestly, I get a lot of my kind of inspiration from just other coaches, good people.
Good.
Right? I want to look, I look to good people. I don't care if they're superstars or if they're Ray McKinnon sitting here talking to me. Right? I look up.
Anybody who walks around saying, call me Grandmaster. They're not worth being called Grandmaster. Yeah. The real legitimate martial artists, as Kevin's trained with or I've trained with, you could just call them by their normal name. Most of them would be like, hey, how you doing?
Exactly, right? So these are the guys that run academies locally.
Yeah.
Guys that run gyms locally, guys that I know are good people. These are people I look up to because they're the ones going to help me with my anything. They're the people who are around me. You know, the people I train with under, of course, those are the people I look up to for my technical stuff. Awesome. And of course, these are amazing people too, right? So, I mean, they kind of give me both, right? They give me, you know, great personal relationship, you know, stuff like that, great techniques and great advice how to, you know, continue on this lovely
real quick, gi or no gi?
I'm a gi guy, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I originally was a no gi guy back in the late 90s, submission grappling, but I feel if you want to earn a belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, no offense to anyone that's going to watch this, but I feel you need to wear a gi. It's my own opinion.
That is my traditional part of me, you know. I say I don't train a lot of traditional quote unquote traditional martial arts anymore, but I still have that traditional
And
mind.
that's good.
Right?
So that brings me real quick to my next question. Being late for class.
Being late for class.
Is it okay to walk in 10 minutes before class is over and be like, hey, Kev, I'm here? Okay,
If 10 minutes before class is over, no. If you're a few minutes late, I'm not too bad.
Sorry, all you guys out there that are like, show up anytime you want. I'm like,
purple belts that are sitting outside till the warm-up is done. But no, I'll tell you the reason why I have that mentality in my mind changed over the years. Because I used to be, if you're not on time, you're not in the class.
Yep.
Hoyler. I did a seminar with Hoyler Gracie.
Okay.
And he was telling us that Helio always said, if you're paying me and I'm late, that's bad. If you're paying me and you're late, that's you wasting your own money.
We're leaving it with that, guys. That's actually a great way to stop. That is good philosophy from the master here, Kevin. To check out Clinch Martial Arts, you're located in Lower Sackville.
Clinch Training Center is the website.
I'm sorry.
It's been Clinch Martial Arts before, so it's okay.
It's been a number of things, but Kevin's training all the time. He's always here. As like everybody, Kevin welcomes everybody to come train with him anytime you want. If you want to improve your Muay Thai,
want to come visit, just come visit.
And we did 31 minutes. We could have actually talked a lot longer. I got 10 more questions, but it's going to be for part 2. Kevin, I appreciate everything you've done for me.
Hey, man, you've done a lot for me.
And everything you've done for martial arts in the community, man.
Oh, I just keep showing up.
A gray-haired guy in gi right here.
Never thought I'd be called an OG in this world. So.
He is. I'm the one that said it, and I have the authority.